Have you ever wondered what happens when a veteran confronts the darkness of her past, right here on American soil? Under the blistering sun of the Arizona desert, Sarah Mitchell, a former military K9 handler, steers a truck laden with life-saving medicine for critically ill children. But when the roar of a motorcycle engine tears through the silence, she realizes she's not just a driver, she's the prey of a ruthless gang. With her two battle-hardened dogs, Apollo and Zeus, Sarah is thrust into a heart-pounding chase where every second could be her last. Who's behind this deadly conspiracy? And what secret will leave you speechless? Join Veteran Best Stories as we uncover this emotional journey. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any inspiring tales of courage and sacrifice. Under the blazing sky and arid air of the Arizona desert, the I-40 stretches before you like a scorching ribbon across the endless horizon, each sunbeam searing the asphalt, sending wisps of heat into the air like the breath of some immense creature. In the sweltering cab of her 18-wheeler, Sarah Mitchell sits firm behind the wheel, her tucked-in shirt pressed neat, yet damp with sweat at the nape of her neck. She feels none of the fatigue that plagues amateur drivers. Her calloused hands, coiled like tempered steel, grip the steering wheel with an almost supernatural certainty. Behind the thick steel doors, dozens of crates of life-saving medicine are stacked with military precision, each box a ticket to survival for the children in Houston, where a rare disease is stealing countless smiles. Sarah has driven down more brutal roads than most could imagine, but never has she felt such weight on her shoulders as in this moment, for this is no mere delivery. It is a race against death, against time, and against merciless men willing to use violence to seize this precious cargo. Beside her, Apollo, a jet-black German shepherd with a sleek muzzle and unwavering gaze, sits at rigid attention in the passenger seat. Whenever the truck rattles over a pothole or rounds a sharp curve, Apollo merely furrows his brow, pricks his ears, and utters not a single sound. Just behind him, Zeus, the agile mirror image of Apollo, moves with restless energy, his eyes sweeping every blind spot through the window crack. These two loyal warriors have stood by Sarah through more than 200 missions in the war-torn streets of the Middle East. Now, on American soil, their battlefield has changed shape, but the danger remains as deadly as ever. The air in the cab grows stifling as the CB radio crackles to life. Maria Lopez's urgent voice slices through the static. "Sarah! The Desert Vipers are active near Iron Ridge Station. Stay sharp." Sarah glances up swiftly, her sharp eyes scanning the four mirrors. The engine's growl under the sun feels like a silent warning. She inhales deeply, steadying her heart as it pounds unnaturally fast. All of Arizona may be accustomed to this relentless heat, but the anxiety of an unseen enemy freezes time itself. Maria continues, "I just alerted the checkpoint. They've reported unusual movement. It could be an ambush." Sarah's brow tightens. Her lips press together in determination. Memories of Kandahar flood back. Treacherous mountain roads, rebel-run fake checkpoints, hundreds of moments when she had to gamble her life to keep the convoy safe. This time, there's no U.S. Army escort, only her, two four-legged companions, and an armored truck hastily reinforced for combat. She whispers to herself, "Stay cold. Stay steady. You've got this." Less than 5 minutes later, Sarah spots shadowy figures in her mirrors. What began as 2 motorcycles swiftly multiplies to 5, 6, black leather jackets and chrome-reflective vests glinting in the midday sun. At their head, a burly man in a snake-emblazoned vest guns his throttle, surging toward her rear bumper. The cacophony of engines and tires grinding gravel erupts like a chaotic symphony of peril. Sarah knows these aren't random highway thugs. These are the Vipers, a ruthless, organized gang specializing in hijacking high-value freight. They've evolved from roadside daredevils into a professional force, experts at crowd tactics and terrorizing drivers into submission. And now, their target is her precious medical shipment. Sarah's deep breath inflates the cab like a bellows. She stomps the accelerator, the engine roaring louder. Yet the empty highway ahead feels like a dead end. Death's scythe hovers at her tailgate. Suddenly, the CB bursts again, Maria's hushed urgency cutting through the roar. "Sarah! More Vipers spotted near mile marker 147. They're closing both ends." A bolt of ice shoots down Sarah's spine. The ambush is complete. 6 bikes behind, a lowered black pickup sealing off the front. Their noose tightens. Only one escape remains. She bites her lip. Eyes flick to Apollo and Zeus, both alert, ears forward, ready to leap into action the instant she gives the word. Sarah swings the wheel, expertly yawing the rig to create an angled approach. Tires screech on the asphalt. A red dust cloud billows behind them. Apollo vaults from the cab, claws scrabbling at the pavement, while Zeus springs over the trailer side, poised to engage. Sarah floors the gas, aiming straight for the black pickup ahead as the road clears over a small rise. Metal crunches, earth erupts, mud and debris fly in every direction. Sarah holds the wheel tight, her gaze never leaving Apollo and Zeus as they charge in. Snarling, they strike the first Vipers who emerge. The dogs weave around wheels, seizing the moment to stall their attackers and carve a path for Sarah's escape. In under a minute of frantic chaos, Sarah breaks free of the initial blockade, barreling across the parched expanse. Sunlight slants through the windshield, golden rays seeming to bless this hard-won victory. She doesn't look back. It's just her and her 2 four-legged comrades racing across the desert, medicine in tow, hope on their backs. When the open stretch of I-40 lies before her once more, Sarah yanks the handbrake, leans down to activate the hazard lights. The wailing siren echoes across the wasteland, announcing her disabled rig. Yet there's no fear in her eyes, only steely resolve. She knows it's time to call for rescue and update Maria. Maria's voice crackles again. "Sarah, are you all right? Is the mission still on?" Sarah inhales long and slow, her gaze lingering on the dust cloud where she just escaped. She offers a tired, proud smile. "We're moving forward, Maria. Houston's children are counting on us." Without another word, Sarah hits the emergency call button, her heart blazing with conviction. No ambush, no storm can extinguish the torch of her life-saving mission. Apollo and Zeus will never let a single life slip away. The swarm of motorcycles closes in on the truck. Their engines roar with a painful intensity, like a pack of wolves hunting in the dead of night. Sarah Mitchell feels every vibration through the reinforced steel frame as the tires bite into the jagged gravel. In her rearview mirror, the lead rider's silhouette crystallizes, a towering man with a stubborn gait and ice-cold eyes. Later, Sarah would learn he was Cobra Jack, the ringleader of the Desert Vipers. At his signal, the other bikes fan out, encircling her truck like a pair of iron pincers. The cab grows suffocating, yet Sarah remains astonishingly calm. She lifts a finger to the control panel and presses the button for the high-intensity strobe lights mounted above the trailer. They blaze to life, slicing through the desert glare like bolts of lightning. The white beams flood the pursuers' visors, forcing several to throttle back and wobble from unsteady footing. In that moment, Apollo, the sleek-furred German shepherd, bears his silent growl, eyes locked on the road. Beside him, Zeus, his clever shadow, scratches the leather seat with powerful claws, poised to leap into battle the instant she gives the word. Sarah whispers softly but firmly, "Not yet, boys." She knows that if Apollo and Zeus strike now, they'll become targets instantly, and she's not willing to risk that. She needs more time, just enough to carve out a safe distance before unleashing her four-legged warriors. Suddenly, the CB radio crackles, shattering the tension. Sergeant Harper of the Arizona Highway Patrol speaks urgently. "Truck 29, this is Harper. We've received reports of Viper's activity on I-40. What's your position?" Sarah ducks low, eyes darting to the swift shadows beyond the glass. "Eastbound on I-40, about 3 miles past Iron Ridge Station. At least 10 Vipers surrounding me. My cargo is life-saving medicine for Houston's children." Harper's voice tightens with stress. "We're dispatching units, but the closest won't arrive for at least 15 minutes. 15 minutes. A lifetime for ruthless criminals to finish their work." Sarah bites her lip as heat flushes her cheeks. One biker presses tight against the driver's door, brandishing a metal bar against the bulletproof glass. The clang of steel on armor rings like a challenge. The window holds, but she knows fate only needs one slip to turn this cab into an inescapable steel cage. At that instant, Apollo snaps. His bark thunders like a stern warning. The man recoils, dropping the bar as the dog's strength and fighting spirit back him off. Zeus lets out a low mutter of excitement, eyes gleaming at the chance. Still, Sarah has not given the order. She holds one final card to ensure everyone's safety. Reaching beneath her seat, she presses another button, activating the dense smoke system mounted under the chassis. In an instant, a billowing white cloud engulfs the pursuing motorcycles, swirling like a thick fog. Coughing and sputters rise in cacophony as engines choke. Through the haze, Sarah grips the wheel and floors the accelerator. The truck surges forward, only to find another line of bikes blocking her path, a steel wall in black. Amid them, Cobra Jack leans over his seat, pulling a handgun. He raises it, sights the reinforced cab, and fires. Bang! The pistol crack echoes across the desert. The bullet skims the steel shell, gouging a deep scar. Sarah jerks the wheel left, deflecting the next shot. She feels the heat as the round whistles past her spine. She knows if the next one strikes the cabin, where the precious medicine lies silent, nothing will stop this tragedy. Memories of war-torn roads flash through her mind, where every second was a test of life and death. But this isn't Afghanistan. This is home. This is the highway she and her partners protect, the path to saving dozens of children. Sarah murmurs, "We've faced darker days, haven't we, boys?" Apollo and Zeus lock eyes with her. They understand. The bond between them ignites immediate action. Sarah flicks the gear lever and slams the gas, heading straight into the enemy's line. Her seatbelt straps across her chest, but she trusts her decision. As the truck barrels close, she stomps the brakes. The tires bite into the gravel mound, jolting the leading bikes into the air. Cobra Jack nearly topples, his gun slipping from his grasp. In that split second, momentum carries Sarah through the gap between the lines, launching her into the empty westbound lane. Outside, Apollo rockets off the cab like a gale, claws slashing at the motorcycle saddle with a metallic clang. Zeus pursues, his growl overpowering the engine's roar. Behind them, the Vipers panic, slamming on brakes, fishtailing to regain control. But Sarah's promise to Houston's children burns hotter than their fear. She hits the gas again, widening the distance between her and the threat. Beneath the scorching declaration of faith and duty, Sarah knows this battle is far from over. It's only just begun. Yet with Apollo and Zeus by her side, she's certain that no matter how perilous the road ahead, she will keep her vow. Deliver this life-saving cargo safely, so that innocent smiles aren't extinguished by the smoke of violence and greed. The motorcycle convoy surges around the truck. Engines howl like a chorus of enraged beasts, matching the thunderous growl of the life-saving cargo rig. Sarah Mitchell grips the wheel. Her hands anchor her amid the storm. Every sharp turn digs the tires deep into the blistering gravel, sending jolts rattling through the reinforced frame. But she does not flinch. Her heart pounds with adrenaline, her senses honed to military precision, each command etched into muscle memory. A bullet whizzes through the door crack. It slams into the right mirror, shattering glass like an alarm bell. Fragments spray in every direction. Sarah eases back on the shifter. She steadies the truck and presses onward at breakneck speed. Memories of Kandahar flood her mind. In those shadowed mountain passes, she, Apollo, and Zeus fought side by side against insurgents. Apollo once barreled through barbed wire. He tore a weapon from an enemy's grasp and held him until reinforcements arrived, and Zeus, with his superhuman nose, sniffed out an explosives cache, saving the convoy from a deadly ambush. Now, those two battle-bred companions stand ready beside her. Their eyes flame bright in the haze of dust and smoke. At any moment they'll strike. She cannot keep barreling down the highway unprepared. Sarah swings the rig onto an abandoned service road at the shoulder's edge. The truck tilts sharply. Tires scrape granite. They skid over loose stones with a screeching chorus. The narrow path is flanked by sheer cliffs. The canyon walls gape like jaws of the desert. Every inch is a measured risk. Veer too far, and the rig plunges into the abyss. But Sarah knows. Stay on the interstate, and the vipers will surround her, snatching the precious medicine away. She will not let that happen, no matter the danger. The CB radio crackles again. Sergeant Harper's voice slices through the static. Truck 29, push on to Warren's Haven Station. It's about a mile ahead. Dave Warren, a former Marine, will meet you. Sarah wastes no time. The Haven is a fortified oasis in the wasteland. Dave and his veteran team guard it, trading safe passage for weary drivers in need. She nods to herself, a silent vow. Apollo and Zeus register the cue, tension etched in their muzzles, yet hope glimmers in their eyes. Through the swirling dust she unleashed, two lines of bikes veer sharply to follow. The choking white cloud cloaks her from view. The scorching sun cracks the earth below. Gunfire rattles again. A round zips past the mud guard, carving a shallow gouge. Sarah jerks the wheel, locks the handbrake to pivot into the narrowest turn. On each side, jutted rock walls close in like Titan's fingers. She guns the engine. The rear wheels grind and shovel gravel into the air. Cobra Jack and his cohorts cling on, undeterred by smoke or treacherous terrain. He surges alongside, draws his pistol, presses it against the bulletproof window. Metal glints in the harsh light. His shot cracks the air. The bullet grazes the steel skin. Sarah wobbles in her seat. She snarls, "No stopping!" and stomps the accelerator. The truck tears out of the cliff's embrace. The road widens ahead. There, Warren's Haven emerges. A low concrete fortress ringed with razor wire. Cameras perched on high towers. A lone amber spotlight blinks their welcome. Sarah inhales, shifts gears, barrels through the automatic gate. The tires crush weathered pavers. Dust rises in a thick cloud. She clicks the shifter to P, kills the engine, but leaves the ignition on to power the defenses. Through the windshield, she sees the Vipers halted outside, a snarling mob under floodlights. Engines rev like they intend to devour the compound. Cobra Jack disembarks, lithe yet menacing, gun raised. He leaps onto the raised platform, bellows, "Hand over the cargo, or I burn this place to the ground!" Sarah does not flinch. She opens her door, steps out. Her lean silhouette radiates hard-won confidence. Apollo and Zeus position themselves behind her, rigid as sentries. Silence grips the yard. Even chaos pauses to catch its breath. Sarah's free hand rests on the rear cargo container. She meets the Viper's gaze. She will fight to the last man if necessary. But her greatest wish is to protect these vital medicines. That pregnant silence stretches until a beam of moonlight white from a security camera floods the courtyard. A new voice thunders through the station's loudspeakers, deep and unwavering. "This is Warren. Are you still in the truck?" Sarah allows a hint of a smile. Her voice is calm steel. "We're here, Dave. Send the escort." Spotlights blaze to life. Armored jeeps and 2 black SUVs roar out from behind gun emplacements. Their headlights pierce the night like lightning. Engines thunder in unison, forging a living steel barrier between Sarah and the Vipers. Cobra Jack still clutches his pistol. He squeezes the trigger. The echoing blast rattles the ground. The bullet skips inches from Warren's ear, carving scratch lines in the concrete. Warren emerges behind a ballistic shield. His voice cuts through the chaos. "Ready to surrender." Sarah inclines her head. Her fist clenches with fierce resolve. Apollo and Zeus spring forward. Their growls rip through the gloom. Shouts erupt. Wheels spin wildly in the dust. The remaining Vipers scramble, throttling away in disarray. The station gate slams shut. Engine heat pulses in the cooling air. Sarah strides inside. Her footsteps echo on the concrete floor. Dave Warren catches up, slaps her shoulder. "You did good." She replies softly, "Not done yet. Houston's waiting." Warren nods, understanding her unspoken promise. He sweeps a flashlight over the cargo hold, hundreds of medicine crates unharmed. The distant wail of ambulances drifts through the night, an anthem of hope resounding across the desert. Sarah closes her eyes for a heartbeat, inhales the taste of determination. The battle against storm, violence, and ignorance never truly ends, but with Apollo and Zeus by her side, she will always press forward, carrying light and life to those who need it most. Dear viewers, please grab a glass of water, relax for a moment, then listen on as the story unfolds with more surprises. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is for you. We always love seeing hearts tuning in from around the world. Comment 1 if you're enjoying this story, so we can continue bringing you even more great tales. Dave Warren, steadfast as a monolith amid the desert wasteland, steps out from the gray shadows of Haven Station. Flecks of silver thread his hair beneath the floodlights, his weathered face etched by a decade of military discipline. Slung over his shoulder is a polished baseball bat, its worn chip a scar of time. He rests the bat at his hip, his voice low but razor sharp. "This is private property. Clear out, or there'll be consequences." Cobra Jack stands his ground. Disdain flickers in his eyes as he sneers, mocking this challenger's audacity. Yet when his gaze sweeps the razor wire fence, the untouched crates of medical supplies on the truck, and the calm figure braced before Warren, that sneer falters. Behind Sarah, Apollo and Zeus, the battle-hardened shepherds, stand silent in the cab. Their presence radiates vigilant energy. A thunderous bark cracks the night air. Apollo, the massive German shepherd with fangs glinting under the lights, rises in a fierce growl. That roar startles Blade, Cobra's lieutenant, who stumbles back, pistol trembling in his hand. Sarah holds her breath. Tension tightens like a bow about to snap. The CB radio sputters. Sergeant Harper's voice echoes across the compound. "Sarah, we're minutes away. Hold on." Those words ring like a spell, a fragile beacon amid gun smoke and desert dust. Cobra Jack grits his teeth, his tongue curling with venom as he spits. "The cops can't save you. I know what you're hauling, and I'll take it, by killing you if I have to." He steps forward, weapon gleaming in hand. Sarah advances a step, her muscles taut under the moonlight, arms folded across her chest, her tone ice cold. "These medicines are for children. What kind of monster robs medicine from kids?" Each word cuts through the darkness like a blade, forcing the vipers to see her humanity. Cobra Jack smirks. Desire flickers in his gaze. The kind who can sell it for top dollar. He shrugs, gesturing for his crew to stand down. Engines sputter to life. The motorcycles roar away, leaving a haze of dust as their promise to return. Sarah exhales in relief, though her heart remains uneasy. She knows the vipers won't quit after a single threat. Within the cold, concrete walls of Haven Station, the stifling air presses in more than ever. Dave ushers her into the small office beside the security room. Carla, his wife, monitors the cameras, eyes fixed on the screens. The vipers linger just outside the safety perimeter, less than a mile away. Motorcycles clustered like predatory eyes circling their prey. Sarah bows over the control console. The numeric keys glow beneath her fingertips. She dials Harper with steely intent. "Sergeant, they know exactly what I'm carrying. This isn't a random heist." Harper's urgent reply crackles. "We suspect a mastermind. John Raven, ex-military, kicked out for selling secrets. Now he runs illicit K9 training operations." The name sends a chill down Sarah's spine. Rumors told of Raven wielding dogs as lethal weapons, training them to hunt and strike without mercy. If he's targeting Apollo and Zeus, her mission shifts, no longer just protecting medicine, but safeguarding the lives of the two companions who fought by her side through every hardship. Dave pounds the desk. "We need an emergency plan. We can't let them regroup." He steadies himself, eyes darting to the map. Sarah narrows her eyes with resolve. "Maria has a decoy truck. She can lead the Vipers down the highway loop, while I run the cargo rig down the old mining road under cover of darkness. It's rough, but rarely traveled." Dave nods. "There's an old concrete bridge section, narrow, full of potholes. They'll struggle to follow." He traces the route on the map. Maria can buy time until reinforcements arrive. Over the radio, Maria's voice crackles back. "I'll play bait, keeping enough distance that they can't target your rig. You focus on safe passage." Her tone is steadfast. The cabin's flashlight flickers like her pledge. As the sun dips behind distant peaks, darkness blankets the desert like a raven's wing. Sarah checks the cooling system one last time, ensuring stable temperatures for the medicine hold. She reaches across the seat to stroke Apollo's head, whispering, "Ready, warriors?" Zeus tilts his head in confirmation. His eyes blaze with "always ready." The engine's rumble softens beneath the starlight. The truck's tires whisper over the old trail's rubble. Maria's decoy roars off, its exhaust note fading into the night. Sarah tightens her grip on the wheel. Apollo and Zeus sit sentinel on either side, 3 arrows aligned toward the path ahead. The abandoned mining road snakes through deserted quarries. Jagged gray cliffs hem them in. Night's veil creates pockets of pitch black. Only the headlights carve a narrow corridor of visibility. The rig rocks violently crossing the cracked concrete bridge. Rusted rebar groans beneath its weight. The scent of damp earth mingles with acrid diesel, a memory of ghost checkpoints from past battlefields. Each mile conquered ratchets the pressure higher. She hears Apollo's heavy pant, Zeus's low rumble, and neither eases the throttle. They know that in darkness, silence can be deadlier than gunfire. Suddenly a flash of headlights erupts behind them. Maria has lured the Vipers onto the interstate. They chase the decoy's taillights. Sarah allows a small smile. Though the truck still thunders, she senses a turning point in the fight. Ahead, Haven Station looms, silent as a temporary citadel. Awoken from its desert slumber, it stands ready to welcome the 3 bearers of life's burden. Sarah floors the pedal, gravel sprays behind like a battle trumpet. What seemed impossible now unfolds. They break the encirclement, carrying hope for dozens of children waiting in Houston. Beneath the vast night sky and the desert's cold expanse, Sarah, Apollo, Zeus, and Dave Warren stand poised for whatever lies ahead. They know the road still brims with peril, but the promise to protect life will never let them retreat. And when dawn finally breaks, its first light will shine upon the path they courageously chose, a road of compassion and hope. Night has fallen in full over the desolate desert. No moon remains, no stars flicker, only darkness as dense as obsidian cloaks the ancient mining road. Sarah Mitchell steadies her grip on the wheel. She keeps the headlights dimmest to avoid detection. The heavy engine growls a steady rhythm. Each jolt over potholes and jagged rocks transmits through the cabin joints in a trembling drumbeat of danger. Traversing loose gravel and scattered boulders, she presses deeper into the desert's hidden shell. Seated upright in the cab, Apollo and Zeus remain perfectly still, their ears pricked, their eyes sweeping every shadow. The presence of these 2 4-legged warriors gives Sarah the unwavering confidence to steady her racing heart. In the thick darkness, she feels their even breaths and the acute focus that fills the cramped space. In the distance, another steady hum echoes, the growl of an engine holding its speed. Sarah lowers her voice to listen. It's the Vipers, or worse yet, what she fears most, John Raven's men, the traitor once of the military, now a notorious criminal training K9s for cruel ends. A crackle on the CB. Maria Lopez's voice wavers with determination. Sarah, 6 Vipers on my tail. They're suspicious, but still pursuing. A faint smile flits across Sarah's tense face. Maria has done well. She's drawn them away from Sarah's true position, but that relief vanishes in an instant when a headlight flare cuts across the hood. Not the Viper's motorcycles now, but an armored SUV, matte black with a serpent emblem on its doors. Raven's unit. Disciplined, ruthless, exponentially more dangerous. Before Sarah can gauge the threat, gunfire shatters the silence against the reinforced steel. Sparks fly under the headlamp arch. She floors the gas. The truck lurches, metal groaning. She yanks the wheel left to dodge the ricochets. Darkness ripples away in strobe-like bursts from her trailer's flashing lights. staggering Raven's men off balance. Yet behind that veil of smoke and steel, two more headlights ignite behind her, pinning the truck between shifting dunes. Sarah senses her rig trapped. It cannot break free. A bullet rips into the right front tire. The wheel shudders, the cabin jolts. She grits her teeth and hits the smoke release button. A roiling white cloud engulfs both lanes, blanketing the enemy's sight, buying her precious seconds. Through the dense fog, Sarah guns the engine again. She aims for a narrow mountain cleft appearing at the roadside, the vertical cliffs like gaping jaws ready to swallow the reckless. She whips the wheel decisively, plunging the truck into the gorge. The tires rasp over gravel. The engine snarls in the tight passage. As she barrels forward, she spots a rusted iron gate, long the entrance to an abandoned mine. It hangs on a single hinge, its edge peeled back to reveal corroded metal. With no choice, Sarah stomps the accelerator. The truck smashes through. The gate shrieks in protest before toppling aside in a cloud of dust. Inside the forsaken quarry, darkness is thicker than the desert night outside. No light seeps through the pitted ceiling. Only the steady hum of the refrigeration unit in the cargo hold echoes, like a giant creature's even breath in slumber. Sarah kills the engine. The roar silences, leaving only the soft ping of the cooler. She pants, each gasp rising from deep within her chest. Apollo and Zeus tense, low growls drift from them as they respond to the new threat. In the pitch black, their eyes flare twin beacons, ready to confront any intruder. Outside, footsteps scrape the mine gate. A flashlight beam cuts through the gap in the rusted doors. Metal grinds on metal, approaching in hurried rhythm, like an inescapable debt coming due. Sarah draws her pistol from her belt. Her hand trembles as she squeezes the trigger guard, her heart pounding. Beyond the gate, John Raven's mocking voice echoes, "You can't hide forever, Sarah." His men slink within the flickering light, weaving like bloodthirsty serpents. Sarah tightens her grip on the gun. Her gaze hardens. Here, in this darkness that entombs the earth's secrets, the final battle will be decided, not just for herself, not just for Apollo, Zeus, or the precious medicine, but for the unwavering belief that true hope is born on courage and comradeship. And as the enemy's footsteps draw nearer, Sarah whispers to her two loyal warriors, "Now it's time we claim our future together." This longest night is no longer merely the desert's darkness. It is the darkness of the ultimate trial, where cruelty confronts faith and life stands shoulder to shoulder with resolve unbroken. The cavern's air closes in on Sarah, a suffocating shroud. The stench of rust thickens with damp earth and engine oil. It clings to every breath like an invisible veil. She presses against a cracked limestone pillar. Her back meets the cold wall. Apollo and Zeus flank her, hackles raised, their eyes bright streaks in the darkness. Each time an enemy flashlight sweeps across a crevice, a ribbon of white light flashes, revealing tense faces and rifle barrels shouldered in aim. John Raven's gravelly voice booms through the hollow spaces, as cold as steel. "Find her. Keep the dogs alive, but if they fight back, shoot to kill." His orders accuse Sarah and declare war on her two K9 companions, just as precious as the medical cargo he hunts. He means to separate Apollo and Zeus from their handler, to turn them into black market weapons. Fury pulses in Sarah's veins. Her heart threatens to shatter the silence. No more time to hesitate. Ahead, the truck sits behind jagged rock outcrops. The cooling unit bips faintly, like a failing heartbeat. If Raven's men sabotage that system, hundreds of medicine crates will spoil, and Houston's children will lose their only chance. Sarah glances at the mine ceiling, mapping her escape route. Only one way out, through the rusted east gate. She pulls a smoke grenade from her vest pocket, pristine seal intact. Hands trembling under flickering beams, she plants the grenade amid decaying timbers and oil drums piled on the rocky floor. Crouching, she strikes the igniter. A dim spark catches, then blossoms into flame. Instantly, black smoke roars upward, billowing over the pillar. Raven's panicked shouts clash with his men's frantic attempts to quell the blaze, like startled hornets ripping into their nest. They forget Sarah and her dogs in their chaos. Within that suffocating smoke, Sarah tugs Apollo's and Zeus's collars, slipping them through the cover toward the truck. Their steps are slow, deliberate. The haze masks their shapes and silences their footfalls. Fewer than 10 paces in, a viper emerges, pistol leveled at them. Before he can fire, Apollo's low roar crescendos. The German shepherd lunges, steel hook claws raking across the thug's shoulder. He howls in rage, dropping his weapon, clutching the rent fabric of his jacket. Zeus follows with deadly grace, locking the man's neck beneath a precise hold learned in training. Sarah doesn't let him rise. She darts forward, jamming her hand into his shoulder, forcing him to drop his pistol onto the cold stone. She leans close, voice a hiss. "Don't move, or they'll tear you apart." Then she hauls him upright, pins him against the mine wall, eyes fixed on the cab. With Apollo and Zeus covering the truck's flanks, Sarah slips into the driver's seat. She turns the key. The engine groans to life. Acrid smoke clings to the windshield. Tires crunch against the rock edge, but the rig moves, the front wheels skewed, but driving toward the gate. Just as the tires cross the threshold, Raven materializes through the haze. He grins with savage delight, submachine gun braced against the bulletproof glass. A burst of fire erupts, rounds pepper the steel roof, spewing flame and smoke. Without hesitation, Sarah slams the horn. Its shriek jolts Raven's aim. The truck barrels through the smoldering timbers, sending them crashing aside. Sparks dance upon black smoke, an inferno curtain. Tracer rounds whip past the rear. Sarah remains unmoved. She holds her course, plowing straight through the mine's gate. Dust and sparks trail from the exhaust in her wake. Outside, starlight and desert sky greet them again. Distant red and blue flashes herald Harper's patrol vehicles closing in. The siren chorus sweeps across the dunes. Sarah guns the throttle, fishtails across the gravel. The rig roars, the cooler bips urgent warnings as the temperature climbs. She shuts her eyes, praying the machinery holds just one moment longer, each crate of medicine pleading from the hold behind her. Before she can draw breath, she startles. Through the mirror, she sees Raven's armored SUV skid into the rock face beside the road. She doesn't know what exactly happened, only a blaze of sparks and shredding metal. His vehicle plummets down the ravine with a thunderous crash, sending a plume of red-tinged smoke skyward. Her heart pounds like a war drum. The patrol's headlights sweep over the truck's flank. Sarah kills the engine. Harper's floodlights hum like 1,000 eyes. She throws open the door, rushing out to embrace Apollo and Zeus. Tears stream down her cheeks as she feels their warm muzzles press against her shoulder, their sleek coats brushing her skin. Stepping forward, Sergeant Harper faces her, his voice dropping to a grave tone. "Congratulations. Raven's rig is gone, but he's not in it." That truth strikes like a hammer. John Raven still prowls the desert, and the fight is far from over. Sarah looks to Apollo, then steals her gaze at the ink-black horizon. She exhales, whispering, "Even if he returns, we'll be ready." On the gravel-strewn road lined with polished tire tracks beneath the silent desert night, Sarah and her two steadfast friends have safeguarded the life-saving cargo and survived a deadly confrontation. Yet, as boundless as the dunes, their story holds countless mysteries. And she knows that tomorrow, when dawn finally breaks, it will write a new chapter in their ongoing battle beneath rippling sand dunes and indifferent stars. And so, in the Arizona desert night, Sarah Mitchell, together with Apollo and Zeus, has crossed the threshold between life and death, protecting the life-saving cargo meant for the children who awaited it. But John Raven, that dangerous specter, still lurks somewhere. He's never one to let go easily. Will Sarah and her warrior dogs face him again? Or will a greater secret emerge, one that changes everything? You, the wonderful audience of veteran best stories, join me in awaiting the next chapter of this tale, a journey sure to stir your heart. Before you go, hit like if this story took your breath away, and subscribe with the notification bell so you won't miss what comes next. In the comments, let me know where you're watching from, California, Florida, or some other corner of the globe, and don't forget to share your current time. I'm always excited to connect with fellow lovers of veteran stories from around the world.